start thinking, wait, I could do this other thing too. I realize this comes from my own wanting. Making even one improvement is already a great thing, a big thing, but once one thing gets improved, other things get good. Can't improve, it starts showing up too. Like turning on a light in a dark room, it gets bright all at once, and the range visible gets wider. That's change what gets done next. So the range visible keeps expanding, and it starts to feel like this other thing could get done too. Since I'm perfectionist, once something gets better, I start thinking this other thing too. I've got to do that next. I noticed something in comments among songs I like. This is only one category of course, there's also stuff like liking a sudden chord progression or R&B being a soul kind of music, but past genre, there's a sudden feel like songs like the Beatles, Obradi Obrada, or Mr. Postman, or Ranji no Dengon, or Hajimete no Chu. I should explain, it's not dry like a bright song. Whether a song sounds bright or dark isn't filter for me at all when I listen. First is whether something feels cool or not. What these four songs share the right kind of ear. Something that feels honest, just enjoy a sound as is it. That's why I like Mozart too. It's right piece like Eine kleine Mahatmatik or the Marriage of Figaro, pure and a bit childlike innocence and dirt. That's what the four songs share, plus none of them explain emotion through words. Either way, I'm not interested in lyrics explaining feelings through lyrics. I don't get why someone would want to say things that way. So I like songs where the lyrics feel kind of pointless, songs that don't try to make a listener focus on the word. That's probably why I like R&B funk stuff carried by mood and feel, so I probably like anything simple and art and genre, things without extra decoration. I watched some live concert footage today, and one singer gets called out a lot for copying other songs, but when I look at the original song, I think that's good taste. I think and they need to pull it from here, so copying whatever gets said buried still comes down to taste. People with good taste ready to pick up things differently from most people. I've talked about before about how my brain fixated things. It fixated this on stuff even beyond the or I notice myself watching TV. It is strange to me how everyone can look people on the eye while talking, but say I notice a celebrity who doesn't really look people on the eye much either, and it doesn't bother me watching them. I wish I could be like that, but talking with people, remember I could hold eye contact fine before, but now I realize I haven't been able to look people in the eye at all when talking to them, and that felt really embarrassing. I've watched all kinds of celebrity and TV, quiet ones, outgoing ones, but they all make eye contact at least once or twice. Who someone never makes eye contact, it looks suspicious, and I start wondering if something happened to them, realizing I might people feel that way, but me is really embarrassing. Today the video came up with comedian I really dislike. Lucky for me, they weren't shoot. I watched back in school. Watching today, they said nothing funny from start to end, while a less popular comedian next to them kept saying funny stuff. I can't figure out how those two got popular at all. No presence, no charm, nothing funny said. I looked it up before on a Q&A site and turned out some people do like that type. I guess it's strange. Right as I'm talking about this, a Yahoo News item just showed up with the same people on it. On my phone, I saw it on my computer earlier. To next topic, there are times I search had answer and times I search while thinking, what should I even do? Without really searching, that's hard. The second type is really trying to reach a conclusion. I've got both of those patterns. Normally, that second type wouldn't happen when someone's looking for an answer. There's a goal and someone moves toward it, comparing and judging things to reach a conclusion, and once enough line up, that becomes the answer. But sometimes I'm just searching without needing an answer. Most of what I talk about here is like that. Before, I feel like there had to be a clear answer. I felt like, what do I even do? But now, there's barely any answer coming out at all. That doesn't feel bad though. It stays at the level of just looking at it, thinking about it a bit. So I'm searching for an answer, but at the same time, I'm not really demanding one. And that's the contradiction. What I mean, it's only during a searching part, it feels fine even if no answer comes. Before, I used to think, I can't watch this video again in the future anyway. There's no point doing it now. But that thought doesn't come up anymore. For some reason, before not being able to see the future made doing it now feels pointless, and that stopped me acting. Now that thought doesn't even come up, doesn't start surrounding whether the future exists or not, stay separate from acting in the present. That's the idea, but I'm honestly not sure how I feel about it. As for the podcast, I wanna keep doing it wrong in the future no matter what. So I keep doing it now too. But thinking too much about the future demand meaning, and that's just not possible. In that sense, it's probably better to remove that kind of pressure. Also, starting from yesterday, I found myself wondering what it would have been like if I'd still been wearing winter clothes the past few days, thinking about the neighbor's window and all kind of other things. Last year, I switched to summer clothes early, and honestly, talking about it now, I don't really get why I was even worried about it. But basically, I'm too much as a perfectionist, and I felt like switching to summer clothes early was me taking it easy to myself. Also, mom acted kind of jumpy, so when I'm looking down, thinking, and suddenly look up, mom gets startled. So I end up not looking up, and my neck gets tired from that. But I still can't look up. Yesterday, I kept looking down all afternoon, all morning too. Was I thinking about stuff to talk about on a podcast yesterday? I went downstairs at some point, and so I messed up when changing clothes the day before. I thought mom was asleep. I couldn't just leave alone, so I asked mom why mom was sleeping, but mom wasn't asleep, just walking around mid-routine. That's another, but cycle. Now there's more checking to do. I should have said anything, but I said something because I didn't want to miss it. If something was wrong, I really am a perfectionist, normally taking it a bit easier. Working with a wider view would keep things balanced better, but I end up cramming everything tight. Still, yesterday I thought that's what made things go well. I forget that reason, but it's probably but mental health overall. Working like a perfectionist, pushing a bit too hard. That felt like a lifeline yesterday, though I forget that exactly that was about. Next, I had too much soybeans and felt stuck about what to do, what's right. When I noticed there was a much left, a good method came to mind, feeling like bad luck in a way. Next, I think a person's position, situation, and environment completely change how they get seen and how they see themselves. It could even get said that position someone praised makes the person, but I also think personality comes down mostly to genetics, so that seems contradictory. Position gets decided almost entirely by luck, but position gives rise to a kind of overconfidence. Someone might mistakenly think they're amazing, or their sense of pride, superiority might grow stronger when someone gets praised above others. They might think they're superior, but that includes an illusion. Thinking I'm amazing, I'm so good, no good, and that self-perception like that really changed behavior that much. I think personality comes from genetics, so it surprised me how much a person can change just from the position they're placed in. It's not that personality creates a position. It's a position that makes that sense of pride and superiority act so strongly, turning someone in a kind of person. So if the position change, someone becomes a totally different person. Whether someone sees themselves as amazing or it's not good, and whether that comes from genetic or gets decided almost entirely by position. It probably comes down to position, but how easily someone builds a self-worth, or how easily anxiety comes up, and that part comes from genetics. So it's 100% genetic. How does that contradiction work? Is a middle point, even if it's a bit of stretch. Imagine having several different personality inside, and depending on the environment, a different one shows up. That doesn't seem too far off. Being bright around person A, being intense around person B, stuff like that happen. Maybe me wonder how many personality a person even is. Next topic, I've been meaning to keep watching the rest of the Harry Potter movies lately, but I keep pushing it further and further back, wondering when I even get to it. I found something almost philosophical in that. First, watching something real like that scared me. Strange, right? Calling it scary when it should feel exciting. And once I watch it, the excitement disappeared. The pressure placed on a future feels too big inside me. I want the experience of watching it, but watching it brings pain. Strange thing to say. Watching a move turned me on someone desperate from the next one. Able to stop wanting to more. Why I keep pressing that same kind of pressure in a future like a regular habit. I think that could turn in a bad pattern. I'd watch a movie like that every week, and doing that could turn in a good habit, but it seemed more like it turned in a bad habit instead. Actually, not many people think about this, but pressure that gets delayed the moment someone decides, I'll watch it tomorrow. Pressure gets praised and a future right there, delay after delay, who tomorrow comes and it still doesn't happen. The position of that pressure just moves further out. I realize pressure can get delayed forever this way. Like even 8 years old, I still saying I'll watch Harry Potter next year. The pressure just keeps going, getting pushed back again. But eventually, that person could pass away, and it never happened. Even without ever getting to experience to it, the pressure itself doesn't disappear, but the experience never gets touched for me. The experience itself is necessary with a body. The fun itself, the goal. The method for getting there isn't the real point, so it's not needed. But if the actual object of that stop existing, that pressure fades to hypnosis could maybe do a little, but real, not something that lasts a lifetime. Pressure only really works once there's something there to watch or listen to. Like I said, if I never watch it, the pressure lasts forever. I wonder if there's a way to work around this, making it a habit, like a method. Seems like one option, but I already covered that. Putting things off in a future like that risked building a dependency, which scares me. Also, it's being rare in the first place is exactly why it's hard to watch it quickly. The fear of it running out, part of what makes it so rare, part of what makes it something that creates such a big pressure. Not many things can match that. Even one thing like that isn't great for me, but if it grows into 2, 3 things and turn in a habit, my baseline for pressure would rise. Other things would start to feel not good enough, which could break down my whole life. One thing I can say, who I don't watch it now. Interest might fade or things could change in all kind of way. Who I hold of, I might never get to watch it in the future. In that sense, watching it sooner or might be better. Like snow, it never falls and does it stay forever? No, it disappears eventually, but if it falls now, it melts away. In an instant, either way, it disappears eventually. That close to the same ideas, there's always some kind of expiration point that shows up no matter that. This could turn in a pushing it back again and again and never doing it at all, but that's fine too. Even if it stings real, missing experience stings real. But if the pressure itself, the point with the hobby, then it fine for the object itself disappears. Something like Harry Potter or movie, there are things that could get the watching it bit by bit. Example of what that wouldn't really work as a movie anymore, or maybe spreading the pressure out couldn't work, but that's like saying instead one cigarette smoked that sounded like strengthening dependency at fixing when I get that spreading it out the one idea, but I'm not so stubborn and that I can't adjust my thinking. I do try things sometimes, and this is just how one does attempt to turn it. And next topic, back during my time on religion, I had a who cares which one kind of attitude toward argument, actually more during a school debate about which side A or B was right, and disagreement out in society, that who cares stance toward all of it, not looking down from some high place, more like there's probably not much difference either way. There's no way to know which one's really correct in a way. Something like that. It was biased personally, but I stayed neutral like that with the social standard feels strong or weak doesn't seem related to it, and this day judgment on body feels weaker, and I often think either way is fine or both sides are the same. Back then I was in religion in a way that matched how things feel now. It was empty then too. There was a religion standard back then. Now there's none at all. That's different back in school. I feel like there's no way to know the right answer, even if someone tried. Felt like judging things was pointless. Even during a religion, I didn't chase the right answer much and kept the same either way. It's fine. Structure even while I was in religion, argument and debates like that, and chasing the right answer, I stayed completely interested. I don't think there's even a way to reach the right answer. And I think the very idea that the right answer exists is just an illusion. So even if a right answer got found, I don't only see it as an illusion. Sometimes the core of something the same underneath, just same differently. Sometimes it's just a different degree. Sometimes it looks different on the surface, but the core is the same. And I end up wondering who the argument even means anything, something relative, where the right answer changed depending on the viewpoint. The argument feels pointless too. There's also stuff that complements each other and be not opposing. But each one making the other work, but we're losing either one breaks the whole thing. Stuff that can't even get split in A or B in the first place. There's stuff that just can't get divided like that. I do use the word distinction myself since it's easy to use, but I don't think the legitimacy of drawing the distinction actually hold up. Next, mom keeps commenting whatever things I'm searching for, one thing after another. I know it's not coming from a bad place, but the word probably just straight out. I try not to justify myself too much here, but I don't think I have a moment where thought just pops straight out my mouth like that. Or maybe I only think that about myself. Watching someone else do something I wouldn't do myself, the annoying, especially when it's someone close to me. Next, watching people not express emotion directly, but instead think it's through calculated act it out. It looks to me like everyone in the world is lying. Of course, the reason never got used at all. That make someone know better than an animal, but even so, that count as overacting. People whose feel down come out directly where feeling get calculated and swapped for acting. Look to me like fake motion. Of course, people calculate and adjust, optimize socially. That shapes attitude, words, expression, all shaped by reason. So, of course, it ends up different from someone's true feelings. Having true feelings come out directly would actually be a problem. But knowing that output is different and still going that with acting gives this feeling that nothing real exists anywhere. I might not be the type who brought things out straight, or the type with a clear gap between outside and inside wither. But I'm different enough from most people here that I can't quite get it. I do think using too much acting turn in a lie, especially for me, someone who's not even an actor. Watching TV, celebrity might be skilled at this, but it still looks like they're thinking like the things through, reacting in a calculated way. I said before that human conversation runs on template, there's rough shape already yet. What to say already decided, so which expression and which gesture fits which moment also comes from that shape. Either way, maybe true feeling never come out, or maybe believing true feelings exist at all, it's the illusion. There's probably a pattern to this action, this kind of moment, so maybe it's not that true feeling never show. Is that how it works? I wonder. But there's still a difference, isn't there? But when feeling coming out somewhat naturally and going full acting, that are different, right? But if a true feeling don't really exist to begin with, and maybe that's a bit extreme to say, but something that it doesn't exist obviously can't get expressed either way. So maybe it's an illusion, regardless of how it gets shown. Inside stuff never gets structured to come out alone. Maybe there's no such thing as a true feeling, as a real solid fact, and that seems natural enough, but the word true feeling itself might still be needed for convince. Not normally, people think true feelings exist, but get hidden for the sake of society hidden, but still believed to exist underneath. This is a tough topic, so I'll wrap it up here. Next, a celebrity on TV try to hype up a show and end up not enjoying it because trying too hard to hype it up. And I think the opposite happened too. We're enjoying something end up making it less hyped. That happens in daily life too. Normally, trying to hype something up should raise the mood, right? But focusing on hyping it up can make it impossible to enjoy at all. Enjoying it can also make it less hyped. So what I said earlier gets complicated too. Someone whose face doesn't show feelings much doesn't get that feeling across. So it's backfire that way, but focusing too much on acting and trying to push feelings out can also thin out the actual feeling until the person doesn't even know what they're feeling. There's the downside to acting too much like that. When someone's acting, the actual feeling inside rubs to its role, and its weakens as a result, or also when someone's deeply focused on something like meditation, emotion thinks out in that way to focusing hard enough can dull emotion. Since attention gets so shaped, feeling face, but what I just said it's different, and that's about outside acting meaning rather blocking the inside feeling from coming out. so it's fade out away. I actually use that purpose sometimes, like when I make a habit of doing something even when I don't want to. The feeling not wanting to do it fade more and more over time. That work from other wanted things to. It stopped me from avoiding things just because I don't want to do them. Talking with someone, say a person who gets angry easily, trying to stop that. There's downside there too. Since other things stop coming as well, it's a trait off either way. When I go and thinking about something other than philosophy, something feels off. There's pull toward wanting to focus on one single point. On a podcast, I know doing that doesn't really mean anything. Since I'm a single focus type, other topics end up feeling meaningless entirely when I'm wearing it. And other kind of talk, small stories and side talk end up feeling pointless by that same standard at time like that. I try to cool my head off since things get to head before that head wouldn't go down. But now it doesn't after some time passed, or not exactly time passing, more like taking a step back for a bit, stepping back from the thought like that matters a lot. Next, chef got scored for how a dish got plated. Afterward, the ingredient used got changed, wiping out everything discussed before that. This kind of things probably happen in daily life too. Not that everything always gets flipped completely, but this kind of things tend to happen a lot. It flips over everything that when talking through so far I can't understand why that happened, right? But for a short time, someone flipped the whole things over. After all, that careful work got done. There are people who start everything over from scratch like that. It's like moving forward with an argument while a base underneath was never fixed and placed, and doing the earlier premise wipes out a whole argument, overwritten just by the mood or the moment. A writer version of this happened with something like, let's eat ramen today, then going out to find a place, and suddenly a friend said they're not in the mood for ramen anymore. Instead, picking a different ramen place, but the whole idea ramen gets dropped. That kind of things happen a lot in daily life, but imagine building a whole discussion around the definition like freedom means such and such. Someone changed its midway to no, freedom actually means this. Instead, let's wipe out entire discussion built on the old definition. This kind of things happen. I can't understand it. Either give up and keep going with an old definition, or fully look down the definition from the very start. It has to be one or the other. I feel responsible for it somehow. Also, someone will state, I'm not mad, said I relax and keep talking only to find out later they actually were mad the whole time. That made the premise broke down and the whole conversation changed because it. Next talking with mom about the well-known chef no restaurant first, but how the old ramen shop got handed to someone new. But the price went up, and I wonder how that works when the appeal came from the specific person running it. Also about the tough word French cooking and how relationships, but when people can push someone away from the field entirely. This is just my guess. But it's happened, doesn't it? Someone with real talent stepping away from the main stage over some small and unrelated issue such as weight, but this kind of things happen. That person probably regret it deeply, even if there was some frustration or strain at the time, probably think later, only I'd stayed on that path. But in the moment someone gets pushed to their limit and stepped back, I think talent matters for more than relationship. But when people most of the time making friendship, relationship with people are just one condition among many, a big one moment. But if the talent there, that alone should carry someone through in that world. Same with art, same with entertainment, and that's exactly why it feels like such a waste. But this kind of thing happen. Sometimes it's a small conflict, not even really the person's fault, more the fault of people around them. What's the waste on the flip side? Plenty of researchers who are terrible society still manage to make career work. Same with artists, probably next topic, a daydream at the club activity. Introduction saying first, I'm looking for the girlfriend, since everyone's always joking about it. Then saying today let me introduce my family instead, talking about mom's old high school family stuff, relatives, then saying this feels too normal and ending with an impression of someone that a daydream I would next someone in a situation like mindset, their life is over. Normally that leads to giving up completely or turning cold and distant or getting defiant. People settle on one of those to stabilize their behavior, but I refuse to turn it in a story like that. Instead, I sit here analyzing it like this. It just feels off, even though the situation is similar. I'm different from that person next, who I hold on a meaningful living that led toward collapse. So I can't hold me, but I still have to keep living to begin with. Living religion with like getting better weight. I can't believe in anything anymore. Can't fool myself with religion anymore. So all that left is think emptiness. Each single thing brings heavy stress, and the only thing I can do is hold my shape together, and I'm cut out as many options as I can that would shake my mental state. I'll say it again, if I hold on a meaningful living that lead to collapse, I can't hold on. But I still have to keep living. Religion was basically a better rate. I can't believe in anything anymore. I can't feel myself with illusions anymore. So I'm stuck on emptiness. Every single thing's stress and holding my shape together is all I can manage. So I cut out as many options as I can that would think that. But maybe people will show up in a future who think I could still hold down a job next watching a drama. I got moved by a character who wouldn't just go wrong with the other person. Someone who seemed to have a real backbone, a real core. I feel like I'm completely different from the person, though I also thought I follow my own path, so maybe I have a core too. Or maybe I have too much sometimes who can already clearly push back at another person, state their own view that looks like having a real core. Easy to see that way. But what about someone who doesn't push back directly, but quietly moved in their own direction from outside and might look like they've got no core, but they're still following their own path.